Welcome to Pro Longevity. Today we're going to look at what we eat. So many diets have been explained to us, whether that's vegetarian, vegan, high protein, low protein, high carb, low carb. Graham Phillips, the founder of Pro Longevity, is going to cut through some of the myths about this and explain to us if these diets are good for us, and if not, why not? Good morning, Graham, and welcome.
Hi, Martin. Good to see you.
So all the noise at the moment is about either vegetarian or vegan food.
Yep.
If I want a healthy lifestyle, do I need to give up meat to achieve that?
The simple answer is no. I'm not here to offend anyone, either their religious or their personal moral beliefs. But I can tell you, 2 million years of evolution makes us omnivores. We're designed to eat meat as part of a balanced diet. And the biology is very clear about this. If you look at the size of a cow's stomach and the size of a cow's brain, you can see it's got a huge stomach and a tiny brain, and it takes that massive stomach to ferment all the food and eventually, essentially taking the energy from the grass that it eats and converting it into fat, right? And that will only sustain a small brain because it's all, the body is so much gut. We're the reverse. Homo sapiens, human beings, have got a massive brain and a small gut. Why is that? Well, we learnt two tricks. One was the use of tools, so we could spear things. The next was the use of fire. So we were able to kill animals and roast them. And in fact, organ meats, which I know is not popular anymore, are the most nutritious food. So the cheapest meat is actually the most nutritious meat. And I know that it's called veganuary or something, and there's another group of us are calling it organuary. So we're encouraging people to eat more organ meats, not because we want to destroy the earth, but because we're very keen to maintain good nutritional status. And it's extremely hard to replace the micronutrients and the protein and the fats that are specifically found in meat, and particularly red meat, with alternatives. Does that mean that no vegan can be healthy? Of course not, right? But a diet of bread and crisps and Doritos is vegan. No one would say that was a healthy diet. So yes, you can be healthy as a vegan, but you have to really understand nutrition. You have to work very hard at it. And my concern is this: I'm seeing more and more, particularly young people, switching to veganism on the belief that it's A, healthier, and B, they're saving the planet. There's a whole debate, which is not today's debate, around whether it will save the planet, but I can tell you it's not inherently healthier.
Well, clearly there's an awful lot of noise about global warming and saving the planet. So, we have to understand that some people will move towards a different diet because they believe they're doing right by the planet. But if we focus on the nutrition and the healthy lifestyle that we all want to live, you're telling me that vegan and possibly vegetarian food is not the answer?
It can be a healthy answer, but you have to really work hard at the missing micronutrients that you're not getting from the meat. Now, I've got many clients who are either vegan or vegetarian for either moral or religious reasons. I'm not here to try to challenge their morality, and I certainly wouldn't challenge their religious beliefs. Obviously, I have great respect for each of them. What I do is I work particularly intensively with those clients to get them to understand how we can substitute the micronutrient contents that they're missing from their diet in other ways. And that is really quite complicated. It can be done. What I'm saying is you have to work hard at it. You really need to understand the science and the micronutrient content. And it's by no means an easy answer. It's a complex one. Possible, but difficult. For most of us, my key message is this: if you think a vegan or a vegetarian diet is inherently healthier and you do it in a lazy kind of way, you're going to make yourself a lot more unhealthy that way. And particularly all this vegan food, this Beyond Burger, all these vegan meals, if you analyze them, they're full of seed oils, they're highly processed, they're very low in micronutrient content. Essentially, if you want to get diabetes, dementia, cancer, eat food like that. It's pretending to be healthy. It's nothing back. It's nothing but please don't buy into that mythology.
Okay, I understand the points you make, but to turn the table on that, if my answer as a meat eater
Yeah.
was to eat burgers
Yeah.
and food like that,
Yeah.
surely I'm just repeating the same problems that you've highlighted
Sure.
for vegetarian and vegan diets.
Well, let's take the case of a burger particularly. If it's a McDonald's burger, it's highly processed, full of very unhealthy food. You're quite right. There's nothing inherently unhealthy about a burger. It depends on the quality of the meat. So if you go to your local butcher, and even better if you can afford it, and not everyone can, organic, nothing wrong with the burger at all. It's about the way that you cook it, and it's about the quality of the meat. So yes, if you pick what we call the standard American diet, full of Doritos and Pizza Huts and takeaways and so on, almost anything is healthier than that. But I'm not setting that very low bar for myself. The bar I'm setting is what can really give you a long and healthy life.
If I could just pick up on the point you made about not everyone being able to afford the better cuts of meat.
Yep.
You'd said just a couple of minutes ago that some of the most healthy meat you can get are the cheaper cuts.
Absolutely, the offal.
And the offal.
Yep.
So it's not just about budget; it's about a choice of product and how you prepare it. Is that what you're saying?
Well, one of the points of pro-longevity is that we actually say to people, eat less. So you might be skipping meals. If you're skipping meals, you're not paying for that food. You can invest the money that you save on the meals that you're not eating and on all the takeaways in a higher quality of food. So that's one point I would make. The other thing is there's a fantastic website, the Public Health Collaboration website. I would encourage everyone to look at that. There's tons of information. I'm part of the Public Health Collaboration. It's a UK and worldwide collaboration to bring healthy diets and healthy lifestyle in a very simple way to people. There's tons of examples on that website. And we absolutely understand that many people can't afford organic food and expensive cuts of meats. There are plenty of alternatives that explains the micronutrient content and with the costs. What I'm saying is a healthy diet doesn't have to cost you a fortune.
So as an individual, I've decided I want to eat a more healthy diet.
Yeah.
In the press, it's all the noise about the vegan diet, the vegetarian diet.
Yeah.
How do I work out what is right for me as an individual?
Yeah. Well, that's where things get complicated, because we've all been taught essentially by the food industry. We buy into their marketing. You know, breakfast is the most important meal of the day. Eat this, eat that. None of that's true. My message is really simple. It can be condensed into 3 words: eat real food. If you look at the back of the pack and it's got a percentage of this and a percentage of that and a percentage of that, and particularly if it's got seed oils in it, forget it, right? Pick up some broccoli. There is nothing on the back of it. It's just broccoli, right? If you buy some red meat from the butcher, it hasn't got a whole list of all those things because it's not processed. So of prime importance, avoid processed food. And then let's talk about the detail. Now, the detail will vary by individual. So I can give you general guidance, which is definitely avoid processed food, definitely don't smoke, definitely don't drink excessive alcohol, minimize added sugar, and be cautious about carbs, right? So that's going to work for pretty much everyone. When we get into the detail, that's where the pro-longevity program comes in, because at that point, we're starting to look at what are your objectives, what's your diet and lifestyle, how is it affecting you, and how can we correct that? But the whole point here isn't to deprive yourself, right? So what we do is, it's not a diet, you won't be hungry. What we do is we say, here's lots of things that you really enjoy, and guess what, they're healthy for you, eat as much as you want.
So do you think within the general public there's a view that says there's an awful lot of unhealthy processed food that meat eaters will consume?
Yeah.
But there's not that same level of processed food in vegetaririan and vegan food.
It's a myth.
That seems to be the message that's coming
It's exactly
across.
right? So the myth is that meat eaters are inherently unhealthy, right? They're not. And the myth is that vegan is inherently healthy. It can be, but it's not inherently so. And just look at it. I mean, the Beyond Burger, what's that about? And there's all these food chains and so on who are jumping on this bandwagon now with non-meat meat. By the nature of it, it's highly processed. It's low in nutrition. It's unhealthy. Don't buy into their marketing myth. Just remember this. In the 30s and the 40s, smoking was promoted to the public as a healthy activity. And the key advertising campaign said, smoke the brand that your doctor smokes. Remember that? Probably too young, right? This is exactly the same playbook, which is the food industry trying to convince you to buy things that are inherently unhealthy, that are profitable to them, jumping on a bandwagon, and they're not interested in your health. Trust me, I am.
So, from everything that you've said, the message seems to be eat real food, not processed food.
Yeah, it really is as simple as that.
And that applies to a meat-eating diet, a vegetarian diet, a vegan diet. The same principles apply.
And then when we get into the detail, that's where prolongevity fits in.
Thank you, Graham.
Pleasure.
Today, you've dispelled some of the myths. There is no such thing as an inherently healthy diet. So whether it's vegan, vegetarian, or meat eating, what it's about is real food and the way that it's prepared. So think carefully before moving to what you think is healthier. Think about what you're eating and how you're preparing it. Graham has great advice on his website and a free questionnaire that you can answer to find out how at risk you are of developing type 2 diabetes and other health issues. Please access that, complete the questionnaire, and then talk to Graham, and he will help you on your journey to a healthier lifestyle. Thank you, Graham.
Pleasure.